The sound of a body slamming against the mat cracked through the underground hall like a gunshot. Kang Dae-Seok didn't even turn around at first. He rolled his shoulders, adjusted the black belt tied at his waist, and wiped sweat from his jaw as the man he had just thrown groaned somewhere behind him. "Get him up," Kang said calmly. "If he can still breathe, he can still learn." Two men rushed forward, dragging the defeated trainee away as laughter rippled through the Iron Pine training hall. The space smelled of sweat, disinfectant, and fear. Heavy wooden beams pressed low overhead, trapping every sound inside. No windows, no daylight, just dominance. Kang stepped to the center of the mat again, rolling his neck. "That's the third one today," Min-jae said with a grin, clapping. "You're breaking records, boss." Kang smirked. "Weak people break themselves." That was when he noticed her. She was on her knees near the edge of the hall, scrubbing dried sweat from the floor with a cloth already worn thin. Dark blue uniform, sleeves rolled neatly to her forearms. Head slightly bowed. Quiet, always quiet. She had been there for years. Kang tilted his head. "Hey." The laughter died down. "You," he said, pointing. "Cleaner." The woman looked up slowly. Her face was calm. Older than most of them. Late 40s, maybe. Dark skin that stood out sharply against the pale mats and white uniforms surrounding her. "Yes," she said. Her voice wasn't shaky. That alone drew a few glances. Kang smiled, amused. "What's your name again?" "Amara," she replied. "Amara Cole." Min-jae snorted. "You hear that? She actually thinks we care." More laughter. Kang paced closer, circling her like she was already part of the training. "Amara," he repeated, tasting the name. "You've been cleaning this place for what, 3 years now?" 3 years and 2 months, she said. That earned a raised brow from Master Eugene Ho, who stood near the wall with his arms folded. He watched everything, but said little. "So, you've seen a lot," Kang continued. "You've watched men bleed, cry, beg." He crouched slightly, so they were closer to eye level. "You ever wonder what it feels like?" Amara met his gaze. She didn't answer right away. "I don't wonder," she said. "I observe." That was the first crack. Min-jae laughed too, loudly. "Boss, she's talking like some monk." Kang straightened and chuckled. "You're right. Maybe she needs a lesson." He turned to the room. "Everyone circle up." Boots scraped. Men formed a loose ring around the mat, energy buzzing again. This was their favorite part, humiliation disguised as training. Kang pointed to the center. "Stand up." Amara rose smoothly, wiping her hands on her cloth before folding it and placing it neatly on the floor. That motion, small, deliberate, caught Master Yu's eye. "You clean this place every day," Kang said. "You watch us fight. So today you fight." Laughter exploded. Min-jae bent forward, holding his stomach. "This is better than sparring night." Kang gestured to the mat. "Go on. Enter." Amara stepped forward. No hesitation. No rush. She slipped off her shoes without being told, aligned them side by side, then stepped onto the mat. The laughter thinned. Kang frowned slightly. "You know the rules?" "Yes." That answer landed heavier than expected. Kang rolled his shoulders again. "All right, entertain us." He lifted his hands casually, relaxed stance, pure confidence. This was supposed to last 5 seconds. 10 at most. Amara exhaled, slowly. She didn't bow. She didn't smile. She adjusted her footing by 1/2 an inch. Master Yu's eyes narrowed. Min-jae whispered, "Why is she standing like that?" Kang lunged. Fast. Direct. A strike meant to knock the air out of her and send her sprawling. But Amara wasn't there. His fist cut through empty space. The room sucked in a breath. She had moved barely a step, Just enough. Kang felt his balance shift. For a split second, an unfamiliar sensation. He recovered quickly, spinning and throwing a second strike. Again, nothing. Amara's expression didn't change. Kang's smile faded. Stop dodging. I am, she said. I'm just not being hit. A few men exchanged looks. Kang attacked again, this time harder, faster. His footwork was sharp, precise. He drove her back with controlled aggression. She retreated calmly, eyes tracking his shoulders, his hips, his breathing. You favor your left side, she said suddenly. Old rib injury. Healed poorly. Kang froze for half a beat. How would you? He attacked again, anger bleeding through technique now. Amara stepped inside his range. Not striking. Redirecting. She guided his arm past her shoulder, twisted just enough to throw his momentum off, then released him. Kang stumbled. Not fell. Stumbled. Silence crashed down like a weight. Min-jae's mouth hung open. Boss. Kang straightened slowly, face burning. You think that was skill? No, Amara said. That was patience. Kang's jaw clenched. I'm done playing. He surged forward again, abandoning restraint. This time, Amara stopped retreating. She met him. Their arms collided, not with force, but timing. She shifted, turned, and Kang suddenly felt the floor tilt. His knee hit the mat. A sharp, humiliating sound. A Mafia boss on one knee. No one laughed. Kang pushed himself up, violently. Enough. He reached into his GI. Master Yu's voice cut through the air. Dae-Seok. The ceramic blade flashed into Kang's hand. Gasps. Someone swore. Min-jae shouted. Boss, don't. Amara moved. One step. Her hand clamped onto Kang's wrist, twisted, and the blade fell, skidding harmlessly across the mat. Before anyone could blink, Kang was on the floor. Flat. Pinned. Her knee pressed lightly into his shoulder. Her grip locked his arm in place with terrifying precision. He couldn't move, couldn't breathe properly, couldn't understand how this was happening. The Iron Pine training hall had never been this quiet. Amara leaned slightly closer. Violence is what you use when control is gone. Kang's chest heaved. His voice came out strained. Who are you? She released him and stood. No celebration. No glare. Just calm. Master Yu stepped forward. Then, slowly, deliberately, he bowed. Deep. Lower than anyone had ever seen him bow. A murmur spread through the men like electricity. Master? Min-jae whispered. Master, you didn't look away from Amara. You shouldn't have tested her. Heavy footsteps echoed from the entrance. An old man entered, supported by a cane, but carrying an authority that bent the room around him. Chairman Beck. His eyes landed on Amara. He smiled faintly. So the shadow finally stepped into the light. He said, the Lioness of the East. Every man in the room felt the name hit their spine. Amara closed her eyes briefly. Kang sat up slowly, shock written across his face. The world he ruled had just cracked, and it wasn't done breaking. The silence after Chairman Beck's words felt heavier than the fight itself. Kang Dae-Seok looked from the old man to Amara, his throat dry. The lioness, he repeated quietly. That's a myth. Chairman Beck took a slow step forward, his cane tapping once against the mat. So was your reputation, he said calmly. Until today. The men standing around the mat shifted uneasily. No one laughed now. No one even breathed loudly. Every eye followed Amara as she bent down, picked up her folded cleaning cloth, and held it in her hands like nothing extraordinary had just happened. Master Yu straightened from his bow and finally spoke again. I trained for 47 years, he said, voice steady but reverent. And I have never seen control like that from someone who did not live through war. Amara's jaw tightened slightly. Just slightly. Chairman Beck studied her face. You were supposed to stay hidden, he said. I wondered how long it would take before arrogance forced you back into the open. She met his gaze. I didn't come here to teach, she replied. I came to disappear. Kang pushed himself fully upright, wincing as he rolled his shoulder. His pride hurt worse than his body. Disappear, he snapped. You humiliate me in front of my men, and call it disappearing? Amara turned to him then, not with anger, with disappointment. You humiliated yourself, she said. I only removed the noise. Min-jae swallowed hard. He had mocked her minutes earlier. Now he couldn't even meet her eyes. Chairman Beck raised a hand. Enough, he said. Everyone out. Now. No one questioned it. Boots shuffled. The ring broke apart. One by one, the men filed out of the hall, glancing back nervously, whispering nothing. Even Min-jae hesitated at the door before leaving, his usual arrogance replaced by confusion and something close to shame. Soon, only 4 remained. Kang, Amara, Master Yu, Chairman Beck. The Iron Pine Training Hall felt larger, without witnesses. Kang exhaled slowly. If you're who he says you are, he began, voice lower now, stripped of performance, then why clean floors? Why take orders from people like me? Amara walked to the edge of the mat and sat down, lowering herself carefully, like someone who had learned not to rush anything important. Because power attracts violence, she said, and invisibility attracts peace. Master Yu nodded faintly. She vanished after the Southern purges, he said to Kang. Protected syndicate families. Pulled children out of burning buildings. Left before gratitude could turn into worship. Kang laughed bitterly. So, you're some kind of hero? No, Amara said immediately. I was a weapon. Heroes choose. Weapons are pointed. The words hung in the air. Chairman Beck rested both hands on his cane. You saved lives, he said. I ended lives too, Amara replied. Enough that I needed a place where my hands could do something simple again. She looked down at her palms. Cleaning doesn't lie, she continued. The dirt is there, or it isn't. No politics. No fear. Kang stared at her, something inside him cracking further. You could have killed me, he said. You chose not to. Yes. Why? Amara looked up at him. Because you're not finished. The words unsettled him more than any threat. Chairman Beck cleared his throat. Dae-Seok, he said, you built your rule on intimidation. That only lasts until someone stronger appears. Kang clenched his fists. So what? He snapped. I kneel now. I hand over everything. Amara stood. No, she said. You clean. The word hit him harder than any strike. Clean, he repeated. You watched me scrub blood from this floor for years, she said. You laughed. You ignored. Now you'll understand. Master Yu's voice was quiet but firm. If you want to remain here, he added, you begin again. Kang laughed once, sharp and humorless. You want the boss of this hall to mop floors. I want the man who lost control to learn it, Amara said. The challenge wasn't in her tone. It was in her certainty. Kang looked at Chairman Beck. The old man gave a single nod. Decision made. The next morning, the hall opened before dawn. Amara arrived as usual, expecting silence. Instead, she found Kang on his knees. A bucket sat beside him, a mop in his hands. He didn't look up when she entered. Neither did the men behind him, Min-jae among them, all cleaning in rigid, awkward silence. Amara stopped just inside the doorway. Master Yu stood beside her. He didn't sleep, he murmured. None of them did. Kang finally spoke, voice low. Where do I start? Amara pointed to a dark stain near the far wall. He nodded once and moved toward it. No music, no speeches, just the sound of water, cloth, effort. Days passed, then weeks. The hall changed. Training became quieter, more deliberate, fewer injuries, fewer screams. Men bowed when entering, not to Kang, to the space. Min-jae approached Amara one evening as she packed her things. I was wrong, he said quickly, bowing so deeply his forehead nearly touched the mat. About everything. She regarded him for a moment. Then be better tomorrow, she said. That's apology enough. Kang watched it all. Watched how authority could exist without fear. One night, long after the others had left, he approached her. I don't know how to lead without intimidation, he admitted. Amara tied her bag and slung it over her shoulder. Then don't lead yet. She stepped past him. At the doorway, she paused. Power is loud at first, she said. Then it learns to listen. She left. Months later, the Iron Pine Training Hall was unrecognizable. And Amara, she was gone again. No goodbye. Just a folded cloth left neatly at the edge of the mat. Some said she moved on to another place that needed quiet correction. Others said she vanished for good. But the men who trained there never forgot. And neither will you. If this story held you until the end, take a moment to like the video. It helps more than you know. Subscribe for more powerful stories like this, where strength isn't always loud and respect is earned the hard way. And in the comments, tell us one thing. Who did you underestimate in your life? And what did you learn when you finally looked closer? Because sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one nobody notices.